Have you ever failed over and over again until you thought success was not for you? Maybe your business fell apart. Maybe you tried again and it failed again. Perhaps this is your third, fourth, or even fifth attempt. People might tell you to just quit and find a regular job. But here is what you need to know. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the cost of getting in. This is the story of a man who failed 11 times, lost everything, went bankrupt, had no home, and became a joke in his town. Then, he built a $10 million company. His name was Victor. If you have ever felt like giving up, this story will change your life. Stay with me until the very end. This is because his secret to success was not talent, connections, or luck. It was something much simpler, but also much harder. In a middle-sized industrial city, where factories lined the river and big dreams seemed like a luxury, lived a 28-year-old man named Victor Chen. Victor was not born poor. His father owned a small printing shop. It was nothing fancy, but it was steady. His family ate well. Victor went to college. His life was normal. But Victor did not want normal. He wanted to build something new, to create, to show that he could do more. At 22, right after college, Victor used his savings to open a store for mobile phone accessories. This was in 2008. Smartphones were just starting to become popular. He thought he had found a great chance. He was wrong. Within 8 months, the store closed. He lost $15,000. His father said, "It's okay, son. Come work at the printing shop. Learn the family business." But Victor could not do it. He felt that working for his father would mean giving up. At 23, he tried again with an online teaching service. He spent a year making a website, finding teachers, and telling parents about it. After 12 months, he had only 3 paying customers. He made a total of $280. He closed it down. At 24, a food delivery startup failed, and he lost $8,000. At 25, a clothes shop failed, losing him $12,000. At 26, a party planning company failed, and he lost $6,000. People started to see a pattern, and they started to talk. Victor Chen. Oh, he's the guy who always fails. Another business. How many is that now? 5. His poor father. Imagine having a son who just wastes money. His college friends, who had made good careers and bought cars and houses, stopped asking him to their get-togethers. He was an embarrassment, a warning story. Victor felt the weight of their judgment. But worse than that, he felt his own doubts growing inside him. Late at night, he would lie awake and think. Quote 1. His savings were gone. His credit cards were full. He had borrowed money from family members who now avoided his calls. At 27, he hit his lowest point. His 6th business, a digital marketing company, failed terribly. He had taken out a loan, hired 2 workers, and rented an office. Within 6 months, all his clients left. He could not pay his workers. He could not pay the rent. The landlord kicked him out. The bank demanded its money back. His workers quit, very angry. And Victor, for the first time in his life, declared personal bankruptcy. At 28 years old, Victor moved back into his old bedroom at his parents' house. His father hardly spoke to him. His mother cried when she thought he could not hear her. He had no money, no future plans, and no belief in himself left. One night, sitting on his old bed, looking at letters saying he did not get the jobs he applied for, Victor made a choice. "One more," he whispered. "Just one more try. If I fail again, I will give up forever. I will accept that I am not meant for this. But I need one more chance to prove to myself, more than anyone else, that I can do this. But this time, he knew he could not do it alone. Victor needed money, but no bank would lend to someone who had failed 7 times and had bankruptcy on his record. So he did something that made him feel small. He took a job as a waiter at a nice restaurant. Every night he served rich business people. He listened to them talk about deals, money, and growing their businesses. And every night he went home feeling like a failure, serving successful people their expensive meals. One evening, a regular customer, a man in his 60s named Mr. Joe, sat in Victor's area. Mr. Joe owned many factories and was known in the city as a man who made his own wealth. As Victor served his food, Mr. Joe looked up and said, Victor stopped. Victor paused, then decided to be honest. Mr. Joe smiled. Mr. Joe leaned back in his chair. Victor sat. Mr. Joe said calmly, Today we talk about why some people always win, while others keep trying and fail. You might know someone like this, or maybe it's even you. But what if the secret isn't just trying harder? What if it's learning the right way to try? Mr. Joe looked at Victor. He shared a secret. His own wife almost left him. He said that on his 12th try, something finally clicked. Victor's eyes grew wide. This important man, dressed in an expensive suit, had failed 11 times. Victor asked, quote 14. Mr. Joe said, quote 15. He continued, quote 16. Victor could not sleep that night. The next morning, at 5:45, Victor stood outside Mr. Joe's office building. When Mr. Joe arrived at 6 o'clock, he smiled. 17? He said. 18. Mr. Joe led Victor into his office. It was a room full of books, awards, and pictures of successful businesses. But in one corner, there was a small frame. Inside, there was a list of 11 businesses. Each one had a red line through it. Mr. Joe said, 19. He added, 20. Mr. Joe drew a simple picture on a whiteboard. He asked Victor. Victor thought for a moment. Then he began. Mr. Joe said. He circled words on the board. He drew a picture of a house falling down. 30. Mr. Joe stated. Victor wrote fast in a notebook that Mr. Joe had given him. Mr. Joe asked. Victor replied, quote 33, quote 34, quote, Mr. Joe said, quote 35, quote 36, quote, Mr. Joe continued, quote 37, quote. He wrote big numbers on the board. Mr. Joe announced. Victor felt the weight of that question. 18 months. He had never stuck with anything for 18 months. Quote 41, quote, he said quietly. Quote 42, quote, Mr. Joe asked. Quote 43, quote, Victor replied. Quote 44, quote, Mr. Joe corrected him. Quote 45, quote, Mr. Joe drew a single arrow. Quote 46, quote, he said. Quote 47, quote, Mr. Joe closed his notebook. Quote 48, quote, he leaned forward. Quote 49, quote, quote 50, quote, Victor reached out his hand. Quote 51, he said. For the next 3 months, Victor's life completely changed. Every Saturday at 6 o'clock, Victor met Mr. Joe. They studied how markets work, looked at successful businesses, and pulled lessons from Victor's past failures. Victor chose to focus only on getting new clients for technology companies using LinkedIn. One service, one type of business, nothing else. He spent 3 months learning everything. how LinkedIn works, how sales cycles happen in business to business, the problems tech companies face, what competitors do. He did not start the business yet, he just learned. His father thought he was wasting time, another 3 months with no money coming in. But Victor remembered, foundation before building. In month 4, Victor started Tech Lead Connect. It was a business focused only on getting LinkedIn clients for business-to-business tech companies. This story shows us something important. Success isn't just about trying hard. It's about learning the right rules, building a strong base, and never giving up when things get tough. What lesson will you take from Victor's story today? Victor started with nothing. No website, no office, no staff, just him, a computer, and a clear promise. He told companies, quote, 53, _. His first client was a small software company. They paid him $500 a month. His mother cried because they finally had some money, but Victor knew this was only the start. He had promised himself 18 months. In month 5, he had just 1 client and $500 a month. It was barely enough to eat. In month 6, he had 2 clients, $1,000 a month. But in month 7, he lost a client. He was back to $500. Victor's father spoke to him. 8 months in and you're still only making $500 a month, he said. This is the same old story. You need to stop. Victor felt bad. Was his father right? Was this just his 8th failure? Then he remembered Mr. Joe's words. Quote, 56, Victor was on track. It was supposed to be hard. In month 9, he had 3 clients, $1,500 a month. In month 10, 5 clients, $2,500 a month. In month 11, 7 clients, $3,500 a month. It still was not enough to move out or pay back what he owed, but things were changing. Clients stayed. They saw results. People were talking. In month 13, a medium-sized tech company hired him for $3,000 a month. Victor almost cried when they signed the paper. In month 14, that company told 2 other companies about him. Suddenly, he was making $8,000 a month. In month 15, $12,000 a month. Victor hired his first helper. Exactly 18 months after he began, Victor got his biggest client yet. It was a fast-growing tech company. They paid $10,000 a month for his service. His total money each month was $28,000. He sat in his old bedroom, the place where he felt so low 2 years before. He called Mr. Joe. Victor said, his voice shaky. Mr. Joe just laughed. With proof of his success, his business grew faster. In year 2, he made $400,000 a year. He hired 5 people. In year 3, he made $1.2 million. He got an office and paid back all his debts. His father finally looked happy. 5 years after that first breakfast with Mr. Joe, Tech Lead Connect reached $10 million in yearly sales. They had 60 employees and offices in 3 cities. Business magazines wrote about them. Victor, now 33 years old, stood on a stage at a business meeting and told his story. At the meeting, a young man came up to Victor. Quote 60, quote. He said, quote 61, quote. Victor smiled. Quote 62, quote. The young man replied, quote 63, quote. Quote 64, quote. Victor said, quote 65, quote. He went on, quote 66, quote 67, quote 68, quote 69, quote 70. The audience laughed. Quote 71, quote. He paused for a moment. Quote 72, quote. Victor visited Mr. Joe's office one last time before the old man stopped working. "Thank you," Victor said simply. "You saved my life." Mr. Joe shook his head. "No, Victor. I just taught you what you already had inside. The power to keep going. You saved yourself. I just showed you how." My friend, if you are watching this video, maybe you have failed. Maybe you have failed many times. Maybe people told you to give up. Let Victor's story give you permission to try again, but do it in a new way this time. Study for 3 months before you start. Promise to work for 18 months no matter what. Become extremely good at one specific thing. I cannot promise you will build a $10 million business, but I can promise this. If you use these 3 rules, you will go further than you ever have before. And maybe, just maybe, try number 8 or 9 or 10 will be the one that changes everything. If this story gave you the courage to try one more time, hit that like button right now. Do it as a promise, not to me, but to yourself. Leave a comment. Say, quote 76, you are part of a brave group. We are all together in this journey. If you know someone who feels like giving up, please share this video with them. It might be the push they need to keep fighting for just one more day. And remember to subscribe to this channel. Every single week, new stories arrive. Stories about people who failed many times but kept going, and in the end, they won big. You are not fighting alone. Think about Victor's long journey. He failed 7 times. He lost all his money. He had no home. He felt deeply ashamed. But after all that, he made $10 million. The only real difference between his 7th big failure and his 8th big win was not good luck. It was 3 simple rules he followed, and 18 months where he simply refused to quit. Your big success is closer than you think. It is just one more try away.